Hey guys, how's it going? You are watching a quick film study of Vasyl Lomachenko versus Gamaliel Rodriguez, which of course took place on the undercard of Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao on May 2nd. So I do hope you enjoyed the video. The first thing we're going to talk about is the lead foot position or lead foot dominance. Now, we're just basically going to be looking at an overview of how good of an understanding Lomachenko has on lead foot dominance, which of course is stepping that lead foot to the outside of an opposite-handed opponent. So as you can see here, he shows his lead hand, he steps his lead foot to the outside, and then there's just a barrage of punches. But we're going to go deeper and break this down a little bit. So you see him show the lead hand, probing with the left hand, but notice how he establishes lead foot dominance at the same time as he probes with this straight left hand. Take note of his head position as well, or his head slot position. Now notice how Gamaliel Rodriguez shoots the jab to where he thinks Lomachenko's head actually would be, but Lomachenko has actually slipped to the inside and countered. And then there's just a barrage of punches. Here we see Lomachenko establish lead foot dominance and attempt the straight left hand, which Rodriguez does well to fade away from. Now watch again how he's going to check the lead hand of Rodriguez as he establishes lead foot dominance at the same time and attempt the straight left hand. In this instance, you see him step his lead foot to the inside with the jab, very common technique, comes over with the hook, and then establishes lead foot dominance again. So you're seeing Lomachenko utilizing lead foot dominance in two different ways. Here you're seeing him step that lead foot to the inside and use the jab. This is effective against an opposite-handed opponent. You see him come over with the hook and establish lead foot dominance again as he steps his lead foot to the outside. So we're watching Lomachenko showcase that he fully understands how to attack an opponent, going with the lead foot on the inside with the jab, and of course stepping his lead foot to the outside as he attempts now to bring this straight left hand down to the body. Comes over with the hook. But look at how he exits the combination with the jab. It's always best practice to end your combinations with a jab. This is what Floyd Sr., Jeff Mayweather, and Virgil Hunter teach their up-and-coming fighters to do, because it's just best practice. You know, the jab is a very good tool to end your combinations with because it can keep your opponent away from just responding as soon as he can. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Vasyl Lomachenko actually having an understanding of how to use his footwork to create angles. We hear so much about all these different guys who possess all these different angles at their disposal, but then when the time counts to use those angles, we just don't see the angles. Okay, but Lomachenko, he actually has an understanding of how to use his footwork to create advantageous angles. So here we see Lomachenko check the lead hand of his opponent. He changes position very quickly, but you notice he remains defensively responsible as he changes position. He's in a high guard and he's able to catch this hook. Now, pay attention to how by moving to this new location, Lomachenko effectively squares himself up, but even more crucially, he squares his opponent up, or he forces his opponent to square himself up. And this is why his opponent, Rodriguez, is going to look to reposition himself and make adjustments. Now, Lomachenko is the one who initiates this, so he's the one in control. As he tries to adjust his foot positioning, he gets caught with the hook and Lomachenko spins outside his lead foot. This is Lomachenko now controlling Gamaliel Rodriguez. Notice how he stepped around his lead foot, no different from what Erislandy Lara does to most of his opponents as well. Notice that by Lomachenko stepping outside the lead foot, he has gained an outside angle. Now, in every Lomachenko video, I find myself always having to say this: you never turn on the spot when an opponent takes that type of angle on you. You always step into the free or the vacated space. If you watch Rigondeaux or Rigondeaux, if you watch Floyd Mayweather, you will see they always step into the vacated space. Okay, turning on the spot is suicide. And as you can see, he turns on the spot into a trap set there by Lomachenko. Now let's watch this whole thing again. He checks the lead hand, changes positioning, defensively responsible, catches him with the hook, steps around the lead foot. The guy turns on the spot, which is a cardinal sin, and he takes the right hand as payment for such. All right, so now we're going to be dealing with the T-line. The T-line is basically lead foot dominance taken to an extreme level. This is where one boxer is completely on the outside of the lead shoulder of his opposite-handed opponent. So you find yourself on the outside. The number of times this happens in this fight is just truly ridiculous. And what you notice is Rodriguez, both his feet, as you notice there, are in between the feet of Lomachenko. Bad position. Watch now as Lomachenko establishes the first T-line. Okay, you see him step around the outside. Notice how Rodriguez, both his feet are in between Lomachenko's feet as Lomachenko is completely outside his lead shoulder. Left hand to the body. This is not a place you want to find yourself in. It's a horrendous position for Rodriguez. You are a punching bag in that type of position. Lomachenko, again, absolutely quick foot speed. Watch how he establishes the second one. Now, this is basically why the T-line is so bad for you to find yourself on the tail end of this, because Rodraguez can't throw any punches. Lomachenko being outside his lead shoulder means that Rodraguez can't use his jab effectively. Rodraguez's right hand has to go across his body, so that's been taken away, but Lomachenko can use both hands. This is why it's so effective. Now, I say to everybody who's listening to the sound of my voice, this becomes Twilight Zone at this point. Truly absurd, because Lomachenko will establish yet another T-line on this individual. And, once a guy is able to do this at will, you have no chance winning this fight. It's just impossible. You cannot have a guy establish this on you over and over again and even hope to win this. You need foot speed. See, with Lomachenko, if you don't have the foot speed to adjust your positioning when this guy is moving, you have no chance of winning the fight. It's just not possible. This is the reason why you need foot speed to contend with Lomachenko. He forces you to adjust your position so many times that if you don't have the understanding and you don't have the foot speed to deal with this guy, you will have no chance in the ring with Vasily Lomachenko. It's just not possible. See how he steps to the outside, steps back to the inside. He's moving continuously and forcing angles on you and forcing you to change your position at all times. But he also remembers he's not even paralyzed, so he can just step back away from your punches and he can counter just as you see there. Okay, he knows he can move the muscles in his legs to move away from a punch. Biological androids don't know this. Now, watch him use his shifting ability there. Left hand, jab, and you see him perform the Dempsey shift. This man has all the tools, and we're going to break this down just a little bit more. So you see the straight left hand there. Lomachenko performs the Dempsey shift, and we know this because he switches stance after he shoots that left hand. Notice that his feet are now in the position of a conventional boxer, so he looks more like he's in an orthodox position. This is off of that straight left hand. That's the first thing. Now you see off of the jab how he has completed the Dempsey shift. You notice that as he uses his jab, he restores his lead foot, which is his right foot now, into the position that you will more likely see from that of a southpaw. So that's how you see he performed the Dempsey shift over there. And the Dempsey shift, or shifting in general, is very effective if you want to conserve your forward momentum.
I'm going crazy. Tell me what the fuck am I supposed to do? What's next? Hard never got me going insane, but I'm addicted to the hustle. I'm trapped in the game. What's next?
Load us,